Hey guys, welcome back to the Book Club podcast. I am your host, Zarissa, and today we have a sponsor. We have a word from a sponsor. Okay, the sponsor's name is Ana Luisa Jewelry, and I do have on their pieces. In fact, I've been wearing their pieces every day. We're gonna definitely zoom in real quick. Let me get real up close and personal with you guys. Look. Gorgeous. I actually got sent other pieces, which I'm going to show you. This is the packaging that it comes with. Ana Luisa. And they are 100% made out of recycled goods, okay? Hold on. This is the other piece that I got right here. Let me focus. Look at that. Oh my gosh. This ring is so pretty. So pretty. I can get you to see it better. It's supposed to look like this. How pretty is that? And I'm gonna have to take these earrings off so I can put on the other ones because they're a matching set to the earrings that I got. Get them zoomed in a little better so you can see. Gorge. And then let me go ahead, put these on for you real fast. I'm not even telling you what they're called. I'm so sorry. I'll be putting their names as I put them up, I promise. But got these earrings as well. And the cool thing about these earrings, which is funny because I haven't really worn these, because for me, I feel like almost dropped it. For me, I feel like this is more of a piece you wear when you're like going out. This is a statement for me. But it looks like two earrings in one. And you spread it open like this to get it in your ear. And you just kind of make sure it's where you want it.
Looks like two.
Put both of them on. You know what? Even though I've been wearing that other jewelry, like that's my tried and true. That's what I keep on every single day. For the video, I'm gonna have these on. I'm gonna put these on. And then this is, move this. This is what they look like. And they match this earring right here. So, if you like those pieces, they start at $39. It is free US shipping, and also you can use my code, which I will put on here and down in the description below for 20% off. And one thing that I really do like about their jewelry is they say it's tarnish proof, and it is. Like, it's actually very good quality, and it's carbon neutral as well. I've been wearing these earrings every single day, have fallen asleep in these, and they stay in my ear. They have not lost their luster, and I do hair, so I be washing hair all the time, and these earrings still look brand spanking new. So if you're one of those girls that need everyday jewelry that they don't have to take off, whoa, constantly take off or be very mindful of if it's gonna break, I would definitely recommend Ana Luisa Jewelry. And I just want to say thank you to them for sponsoring me and the podcast. Okay, so enough of that. Let's go ahead and get into where we left off. It's been a minute, okay? We have not done a book club video in how long? 2-3 weeks. And I finished that book already. I finished it twice, okay? And the reason why I finished the book, first of all, the book is called The Devotion of Suspect X, and it is by Keigo Higashino. I finished that book twice. The first time I listened to it, it was very much like, what? But then the second time I was like going back to figure out where I missed it. So the first thing, let's just go back over the synopsis. Oh girl. Oh girl. Okay, so the main character, Yasuko Hanoka, killed her husband, okay? Actually, her and her daughter killed her husband. And her neighbor, whose name is Tetsuya Ishigami, helps her cover it up. So I know it feels like, girl, they already told us what happened. That's the whole story. You would think that was the end, open, close. But no. So how it started was she was working at the diner, you guys. Minding her business. It's talking about both of their lives before they came together. Ishigami's life and Hanoka's life. I'm gonna be going by their last names, okay? So main character is Yasuko Hanoka, but we're gonna call her Hanoka, and Tetsuya Ishigami, we're gonna call him Ishigami. So Ishigami was doing his regular routine, okay? He was walking past homeless people to get to work. He would constantly do this regular routine. He's a math teacher, and Hanoka is a reformed hostess, okay? She now works as a waitress at a diner. I wouldn't even say waitress per se. She kind of just hands you the food, you know? I guess that's just a waitress. But she usually is just at the front, and then you just grab your food from the counter. Who is that? Clerk? I'm not sure. Hanoka is a single parent, and she is raising her daughter, Masato. Masato and Hanoka are just they're just mother and daughter. Hanoka had a previous marriage with Masato's dad. We still don't know where he is, okay? And she has a recent ex-husband who is kind of like a stalker, abusive asshole. So let me go back. She used to be a hostess at a club, and I had to look up what a hostess was, because I'm just like, what's wrong with being a hostess at like a nightclub? Like, because in where I'm from, a hostess is literally just the girl at the front that takes the money that you pay to get in, and then that's it. Like, I'm like, I mean, it's not the best job, but it's not that questionable. But no, hostess in Japanese culture is like host club and hostess club. You are basically a bottle girl or a bottle boy. So you take care of your clients. You wear like some type of outfit. It's based on your looks and your charm. You have clients and you have regulars, and you give them bottles, good service, all that kind of stuff. And the girl that was considered the mama, which I don't know what the mama is. We need to look up what that means. The mama of her club got married to one of her people, like mom. I don't know. Hold on. We're gonna look it up. What is a mama of a hostess? Club. Okay, she was the manager. Okay, why didn't they just say that? Whatever. So she was the manager of the club, I guess, and she was like, well, you can't be, her and her husband decided to open up a restaurant, and they told her, okay, you can't be doing this forever. What will your daughter think? And that confused me, because I'm like, I mean, I know she work at night, but like, she just taking people's money when they get into the club. But then no, it's like she has to entertain them. So she starts working at this lunchbox place, and the person that is also a very important character and is also a main character is Tetsuya Ishigami. That is her neighbor at her apartment. He always has the same routine. He is a math teacher. He literally walks the same trail every day to work. He goes and gets a lunch from where she works every day unless he's off or she's off. You know, he makes sure to see her. He never really talks to her. It's kind of like, hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Nothing like that. He attempted to say something this time, but then somebody walked in and it jumped to what she was going through. And I think that's when her ex came in. So her ex's name is Togashi. So let me tell you about Togashi. Let's go there, okay? Togashi sucks. He sucks, okay? So at first, he seemed like a really good guy. He was taking her to nice places. And side note, he was too good to be true, okay? But taking her to nice places, she felt like, what is that movie? What she said the movie. Was it like Pretty and, no. What was that movie with Julia Roberts? Oh my gosh. What was the movie with Julia Roberts and George? I feel like it was Richard Gere. No. George Clooney? I'm gonna just have to go through her movies because I can't think of the name. I'm having Pretty Woman. She felt like the girl in Pretty Woman. And I was like, why do you feel like the girl? We're just gonna keep going back to me still not knowing what a hostess was. It took me to finish the book to find out what that was. But she felt like Pretty Woman. She felt like she got swept off her feet and found her perfect guy because he had money and he was treating her really nice. So they got married, and it turned out that he was embezzling money from his job and he got fired. And he started becoming a drunk and would not work, and he started beating her. So she did get a divorce, and for a while he was fighting her on it, and then he finally stopped. But she kept having to move because he kept harassing her. He kept finding where she lived. She already moved from one club to the next, and then now she is working at this stand-up restaurant, and he finds her. He's like, hey, and she's like, what do you want? Whatever. And he's like, he basically said, you better talk to me or I'll just wait outside your daughter's school and talk to her. And I'm like, he is such a creepazoid. So they meet at a diner further over when she got off, and he was like, I want to get back together. I want us to be together, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, do you have a job? She was like, do you have a job? And he was like, I'm working on it. You know, I'm gonna have a job next month. Like, I have changed. I'm gonna do everything right. I know it's hard for you and her. She needs both parents and income. I know it's hard on you. But he was like offering nothing. He was basically just saying basically all the good stuff without having anything to help. So she leaves and she goes all the way home thinking that, like, okay, hopefully he's done. She gets a knock on the door and she's like, I know Masato is not home yet and it's him. And she's like, I'm not opening the door for you. Get away. I'm gonna call the police. And he was like, what are they gonna say? I mean, I can't visit my ex-wife. And I'm like, no, you can't. Not unless she asks. like, and says, yeah, come over unannounced, and she's saying go away. No, you can't visit her. So he was like, okay, I'll just wait for your daughter to get home from school. And she was like, all right, come in, because Misato is very scared of him, you know. So they're talking at the table, and he's trying to do the same shtick, and then she pulls out, I think they said 20,000 yen, and I think that ratio is like, was it 20,000 yen or was it 2,000 yen? She either gave him $200 or 2,000 US dollars. And she was like, this is all I have, okay? I need you to leave me the hell alone. And he goes, if you insist, I guess, I'll take it. And I'm like, he's such a bum, bro. And he's like, remember, I'm taking this money because you offered it. I was like, you didn't have to take it. If you wanted to prove that you have changed, you wouldn't have took that money. And so then he was like, you know, I'll be back. And then she was like, no, the hell you won't. And then he was like, no, I will, because you will always bend. Oh, I think I also forgot. Misato did come home, and she was looking like, why is he here? And she was like, Misato, go in your room. So she did go in her room, and with the door closed, and then he was talking all that crap, and then he went to Misato's room. That's what it was. That's what I missed. He went to Misato's room and scared her half to death. And she was like, what are you doing going in her room? And he was like, she's growing up good. In 3 years, she'll be fit and ready to work. And she was like, get out. And that's when he said, I'll always come back because you will always let me back in. And Misato came, got a flower pot, and knocked him upside his head, and he fell to the ground. And then once he came to, he jumped on Misato and started wailing on her. He started beating her up. And so Hanoka, she grabbed it's called a katana, but it was like basically an extension cord. She wrapped it around his neck and pulled him off, but she couldn't hold him. So Misato got on top of him, held him down, and said, Mom, hold him. And she held him for a long time, and she killed him. Like, they killed him together. And at first she was gonna turn herself into the police, but her daughter was like, okay, well, I'm gonna tell him it was me too. And she was like, no, you're not. It was all me. It was all me. And the neighbor came by. Ishigami came by, and he was like, everything okay? She's like, yeah, it's fine. Everything's good. It's okay. Woo. And then he was like, okay. And so then he calls, and he's like, so what are you going to do with the body? And she was like, huh? I was going to turn myself in. And he was like, I mean, you can, but like, you don't have to, but I know you can't get rid of that body on your own. No woman can just kind of, even in like pretty good health, can get rid of a body. That's what he said. And he was like, so what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So she was like, I don't know. So he decided to help. Yeah. I don't know why he got in their business. I do know why, but I'm saying, I get what you're saying, but why? So, oh, and he said, like, even if you tried to say it was all you, they're gonna know it's her, because they would see the marks on his wrists of her digging in there, and they would know that, like, basically they would know that it was a 2-person job. So he took the body and he formulated this whole plan. I'm trying to remember this, you guys, because I've already started another book. But he formulated this whole plan for them to get away with it. So then the detectives, okay, I need the name of the detectives. The detectives find a body. Hear me when I say a body. Not the body. They found a body. I think it was like the day after. So they assumed that the murder happened that day. And they had an alibi. Let me see. Okay, so the detective's name is Kusanagi, and Yukawa is the person that has, it's called the Galileo series. So Yukawa is Dr. Yukawa, and he's also important into the story. So Kusanagi is the one who found the body, and the face was unrecognizable because it was bludgeoned. Yeah. And the fingerprints were burned, but then they found the clothes next to it, and the body was naked, and it was like by the river in the ravine, or it was in the river. And he was like, interesting, we have a murder. And they ended up tracing it back, and they were like, oh, this is Tagashi. Like they went to Tagashi's place, and they matched the hair with the hair on the body, and they were like, oh, this is him, right? So they're instantly going to Hanoka because they're like, yo, you know your ex-husband dead. Like at first they go to, well, I feel like I'm missing something. They find the body, and they do some questioning. Okay, he might have came in. Oh yeah, because they were saying like the clothes weren't fully burnt. They said they got rid of the hand things, but they were still able to figure it out. And they were like, it seems a little kind of easy, but I feel like something's wrong. And Yukawa was just like, well, think about it and figure it out. So they go and talk to Hanoka, and they have a tight alibi, but it was well put together. They were like, oh, well, I went to work, my daughter went to school, and then we went to karaoke, the movies. I think that was it. And then she also called somebody from her old job, and they were like, can you prove that or whatever? And she could prove that she went to the movies, but the way she proved it kind of came off as like, okay, it just, because you know, if she would have kept the ticket stubs, they would have been like, why would you keep ticket stubs to have an alibi? But really what she said was, oh, I fished through the trash, and she kept the ticket stubs in the movie pamphlet, so it just looked like, oh, like I just crumpled it up and pulled it out for you because you asked. And they were like, it seems airtight, seems legit, but I don't know, something's bothering them, right? They're like, and she's good for the day of the murder. Like, there's nothing weird about it. So then they asked the neighbor, who's Ishigami, and he's like, nope, don't think anything weird happened. And that's when Kusanagi was like, oh, you went to that school? I know somebody that went to that school. And he was like, oh, for real? That's what's up. So that's when Yukawa kind of also comes in a lot. Yukawa was like, who was it? Oh my God, that guy is so smart. He's amazing with his brain. He's a mathematician. Like, what does he do now? A math teacher? No, he's a genius. He should be doing way more. And he's like he's a physicist, and he's like a physicist genius as well. And so he ends up hanging out with Ishigami, and Ishigami was saying he never has friends over, and he got to hang out with Yukawa, and they were talking, and it seemed like he had like a friend. Yukawa ended up being his downfall though, because we don't get there. But basically they started hanging out, and also they found out that the detective also went to school with them, and he was like, well, why didn't he tell me? So they have this airtight alibi. Ishigami seems just like a stand-up guy, and then things start going on. There was, what was that boy's name? It was like a love interest. Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Oh, but this isn't everybody. Damn, they said this guy don't matter because he was irrelevant to the grand scheme of things. But he wasn't, because we need his name. Kuzo? I don't want to have it wrong. What? Who? What? If I find his name, I will put it on the thing. We're just going to call him love interest. But while this is going on, she has a love interest from her old job. and it was a client. He's always had a thing for her. And he just pops back in. He's like, I wanted to check on you because I saw your ex-husband died, and he knew her ex-husband sucked. So he was just like, I'm just checking on you and making sure like you weren't a part of it. This, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. So all this is going on, and I think Yukawa starts suspecting Ishigami. He's like, I don't think he killed her ex-husband because he has no reason to, but I do think he has some type of involvement into the murder. So he's like, but I just don't know what it is because it's just airtight. It's kind of hard. Like, it just feels wrong. So even though they have all this stuff that is a perfect case closed kind of situation where it's like, we don't know who did it, but the proof is that they didn't, they are still like, that's not enough. They're still like, that's not enough. So where was I going with that? And then Ishigami ended up saying something like, oh, well, it's called doing something, like he's a math teacher, and he's like, how I do it is I'll make it seem like it's this, but it's calculus. Like, I'll make it seem like it's geometry, but it's really calculus. And then he stopped talking because he basically had told on himself. And they were like, do you have any love interests with Hanoka? And he was like, no, I don't. Not at all. I don't actually really talk to her much. So then, am I skipping anything? I don't think I'm skipping really anything. Oh, also Ishigami took pictures of her and her love interest and everything. And this whole time I'm thinking he's just like a creep, which I don't know, maybe he is. But I was just like, why is he doing all these weird things, like taking pictures of them, becoming menacing, like don't talk to anybody else but me, all that. So it wraps up at the end. Am I jumping to the end, or is this more like to the middle of the end? Ishigami ends up turning himself in and saying he killed Tagashi. That's what he ends up doing. And she's shocked, and she's like, what is going on? And he's like, yeah, I did it. I did all of it. It was me. I did murder somebody. And so it was like, okay, we'll take you in. But they all looked confused because they were like, I mean, case closed, but something still just doesn't feel right. So Yukawa is like the one that actually figures out everything. And I think it's because, one, he's super smart, but also because he knows Ishigami, and he's like, he put it together in some way. I'm just trying to figure it out. And when he figured it out, he needed time to himself, and he was like, okay, Detective Kusanagi, can I talk to you as a friend and explain to you what happened? And that's when it gets really good. And so he explains it to him as a friend, like, don't come at him or whatever. This is just a speculation of how he did it. So, and the reason why Ishigami turned himself in is because Yukawa did figure it out. And he was like, well, if I turn myself in, then they can go on with their lives, and I took the fall, and it'll be over with. So he does end up telling Hanoka about the whole situation. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about him telling her. I guess she needed to know. But the whole point was she didn't need to know how he saved her, how he got it together. She just needs to go on her life and be happy. So, hold on. This is how he did it, you guys. He still was getting rid of the body, the real body of Tagashi. It was like in his house, and he was just getting the parts taken away here and there. He killed somebody completely different on the day that they needed the alibi. Tagashi was dead on the 9th. The person that he killed was on the 10th. So that way they would have an airtight alibi on the 10th, and nobody would look at the 9th. And that was his switch. So his parts are probably all over Japan, wherever they are, the real Tagashi. It bought him time to disperse the body, but also it gave her an airtight alibi. So the body that they were looking at was not Tagashi's. It was a homeless man. And he did say something about homeless people being cogs and like not having a routine and people using them as part of a plan or something along those lines. And he had an engineer, a newly homeless engineer that he killed. And this is what made him stand in his convictions, because if he never really actually killed someone, he would have been able to back out. And so he was like, if I actually kill someone, I am going to jail for real for a crime because I did take somebody out. And I'm like, so you locked yourself in to a murder in order to be able to say that you murdered someone? Because he said I feel like he never really said he killed Tagashi. I mean, I think he was more like, I murdered someone. And they just took it as, who? And I was just like, wow, you really did that so you couldn't wiggle your way out of it. Because a normal human would, I don't know what normal human would be like. I'll help you get rid of the body. But a normal human would eventually go, yeah, this is too much for me. I didn't even do the crime. I quit. And so he made it to where he would still be guilty as well. So that's how he got away with it and everything. And he also made himself out to be a stalker. So he took those pictures of her with another guy on purpose to make it seem like he was some weird stalker next door neighbor who was delusional about their relationship. And she was like, why would he do all this? And he was like, because he loved you. He had a love for you. And it made her really like sad. Mind you, her love interest is trying to marry her because his wife passed away from cancer. And he's like, I can take care of you and your daughter. Y'all can be well taken care of and you can move in with me. So he's actually a pretty stand-up guy. So let me tell you why he fell for Hanoka and her daughter, but like not like that. Not in that way. Like almost, he said the love for them and the admiration that he had for them was like how he felt with Math. Being next to them and close to them was enough. Being actually in their lives was not necessarily what he wanted. So he actually was about to kill himself. He was like, my life has no meaning, no purpose. I didn't do anything with my life. And right when he was about to do it, they came to his house and said hello. All they did was say hi and be polite and say, we're your new neighbors. And that sat in his heart. And Yukawa noticed that he really had a love for her when he was always getting lunch boxes. And for once he cared about his appearance. This man has never cared about how he looked ever. He was like, Math is my only love. And this woman came in and just stole his heart. So she's feeling all glum and sad after knowing this information. And she goes home and she reads something that he sent her. And he goes, hey, he's a good guy. Go with him. Be with him. And this is when things go further down the drain. Like Yukawa goes and talks to him about the situation. But her daughter then is at school and she cut her wrist. She was in critical condition. I don't even know if they said critical condition. I don't know if she died, but they said it was an attempt of suicide. So this was really eating Misato up. And also she really did like Ishigami, and she didn't like that her mom was trying to move on. Like she didn't murder somebody. Like someone didn't help them get out of their mess. She just didn't like how everything was going, and it made her like slit her wrists. So her mom went to the police station and turned herself in, and she was like, I'm so sorry, Ishigami. Thank you for everything you've done for us. But I have to turn myself in. I should be locked up right beside you. I'm not letting you take the fall on your own. And they said he cried like the most wounded animal. And Yukawa was like, let him cry. Let him get it out. Because he was like screaming to the heavens because he was so just, I don't know if he was sad that all his hard work was for nothing, because she was going to be going to jail and the daughter was going to still have problems and possibly get in trouble as well, or still be displaced because now her mother is going to jail, or if he was feeling emotional because it was like, I did all this for her and she thought enough of me to come here and turn herself in, because he never thought anything of himself. He was like, she needs to just move on with her life. I'm nobody to her. I'm ugly. I'm nothing, and all that. And she was just, I don't know if he felt that way, or maybe it was a mixture of both. It was like, I killed someone, I made this whole elaborate plan and it fell through. That could also be a thing because he was a mathematician, so he was like, I solved it to a T. And I'm like, man, he didn't understand emotions, did he? Because I'm like, yeah, they're not just stoic people, they're very emotional people in general, but definitely a woman and a teenage girl, they're emotional. So of course they feel grateful and regretful and shame and bad because someone died, whether he deserved it or not. He died, they did it, and you're taking the blame and you don't deserve to, and then to find out what you had to do so they could get out of trouble, yeah, they're gonna feel some type of way. So he didn't factor that in. I think he really just thought so textbook and also so little of himself that he was like, she's gonna go on with her life and I'm just gonna be in jail and it's gonna be fine because I've always lived in this routine. I'll just be in a routine again. It's fine. So I think that's another reason why he cried. One, because he thought he figured out a perfect solution, and it wasn't a perfect solution because he didn't factor in how humans human and how they move and how emotional they can be and temperamental. He also didn't factor in that his old colleague that he admired was gonna pop in and bust his little bubble. Also that she actually came in the first place and said, I will be in jail with you. Thank you for everything you've done. I think it was a mix of a lot of emotions. I give the book a 4 out of 5. It was a good book. Okay, I listened to it twice, mainly because the second time was kind of like, what did I miss? When did he pull this off? How did he pull this off? How did this go over my head? So I really like that. I love a good murder mystery, and like, even though we already knew who did it, it was and why, I wanted to know what his reasoning was. I wanted to know how he had put this elaborate plan together. And also it was just crazy because I was like, man, you took a homeless person out. I was pretty messed up. But it was a really good book, you guys. And now let me tell you about the next book that we will be going over for the following podcast episode. It is called, first of all, it is called The Woman in the Window. And it is a novel, okay? After this book, you guys, I promise we're jumping back to A Court of Thorn and Roses and picking that back up. I got my my little credit. I got my little Audible credit, you guys. So we will be back on that after this book because I did go ahead and start this while I was waiting for a credit. I'm sorry, but I love my books, okay? Oh, okay, let me tell you something. Okay, so it's called The Woman in the Window. It was published January 2nd, 2018 by A.J. Finn. And it is an instant #1 New York Times bestseller, soon to be major motion picture. I think it already is a motion picture. Outstanding, thrilling, amazing by Gillian Flynn. Unputdownable by Stephen King. Listen, if Stephen King said your book was good, it's good. Unputdownable is crazy though. A Dark Twisty Confection by Ruth Ware. Absolutely Gripping by Louise Penny. For readers of Gillian Flynn and Tana French comes one of the decade's most anticipated debuts to be published in 36 languages. Dang! Around the world and already in development as a major film from Fox. A twisty, powerful Coughlin thriller about an agoraphobic woman who believes she witnessed a crime in a neighboring house. It isn't paranoia if it's really happening. Anna Fox lives alone, a recluse in her New York City home, unable to venture outside. She spends her day drinking wine, maybe too much. And let me tell you something. Yes, she does. Watching old movies, recalling happier times, and spying on her neighbors. When then the Russells move into the house across the way, a father, a mother, and their teenage son. The perfect family. But then Anna, gazing out of her window one night, sees something she shouldn't. Her world begins to crumble, and it's shocking. Secrets are laid bare. What is real? What is imagined? Who is in danger? Who is in control? In this diabolically gripping thriller, no one and nothing is what it seems. Twisty and powerful, ingenious and moving, The Woman in the Window is a smart, sophisticated novel of psychological suspense that recalls the best of Hitchcock. And I think it has a 4.3 stars. Like, it definitely has a 4-star review. And I think not only am I going to finish this book, I'm going to see if the movie is already out. Actually, let's look now. On Goodreads it's a 4.5, and at Target it's a 5.5. So let me look. Woman in the Window movie. Oh, Woman in the Window came out. Oh, it's rated R. And it is okay, but it's a mystery and thriller. It's an hour and 40 minutes. It's on Netflix. Woman in the Window, and it was actually put out in 2021. Yes, and it is based exactly on the book. So hey, homework, you guys. Not only do you need to finish the book, you also need to watch the movie. We're doing it. I'm so excited. That's it for this episode of this podcast. This is the next book. I can't wait to talk about it with you. I can't wait to finish the book because I already started. Until next time, you guys, have a good week. See ya. Bye.